Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, I am Khaeriyah Al-Fadhilah with student ID 20400120085 from PBI-C class. In this video, I will explain about instructional materials review. Before implementing the developed teaching materials in the classrooms, it is essential that the teaching materials be reviewed by the experts. The review is carried out to make sure that the teaching materials have been well developed and ready to use according to the experts' judgments. As an illustration of the review process in this part, there are two important steps to do. It is identifying the expert ELT teachers, providing instruments to review, and to validate the prototype of developed teaching materials. And identifying the expert ELT teachers. In identifying expert ELT teachers, it is first of all very important to know the attributes of expert ELT teachers. According to Richards and Farrell, expert ELT teachers tend to share the characteristics which have set them different from inexperienced teachers. Expert ELT teachers might then be defined as those who have taught English for many years, have rich knowledge of language teaching, are able to know students' needs and adapt the needs with instructional objectives as well as teaching materials, know how to manage their lessons and classrooms effectively to enhance students' learning outcomes. And next, reviewing and validating the prototype of the teaching materials. After selecting the expert ELT teachers, we come to the review process of the teaching materials. It was carried out by giving an instrument employed to review the elements of the teaching materials. It is contents, language components, activities, as well as supplementary materials. And contents. Contents refer to the subject or topics covered in the teaching materials. To evaluate the effectiveness of the teaching materials contents, there are some comprehensive statements to give concerning the review of contents. And language components. Many linguists agree with the identification of 5 basic components of language. It is phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. As the linguists want to assess the progress of learners' language acquisition, they commonly evaluate the increasing quantity and quality of the components. It is sounds production, or example that sounds production or pronunciation, words vocabulary and sentence or grammar, semantic or meaning production and comprehension, and pragmatic, or the use of language in social context. Referring to the concept, language components refer to vocabulary, include pronunciation, word class, meaning, and diction, and grammar, sentence construction rules, and language functions, the use of language in social context. Some positive statements made regarding the review of language components. And activities. Activities may be defined as actions of a learning process which are done for achieving some particular purposes. And the actions in this case refer to opportunities given to encourage the students' participation in the attainment of knowledge by gathering information and processing it by doing tasks and tests in the classroom. And supplementary materials. Supplementary materials refers to instruments or media which are added to support and improve teaching activities. The instrument is made in the form of a checklist with spaces for comments. All statements suggested in each review component should be reformulated into questions. It is also important to note that this kind of instrument is also used as the instrument in the review phase to evaluate the outcomes of the developed teaching materials by assessing the students and the teachers' responses on the implementation of the teaching materials. However, statements with level of agreement are preferable instead of questions with level of quality. In this part, the expert ELT teachers' inside responses to the questions in the given checklist are analyzed by using a scale. For the purpose of quantifying the indicators by using the scale, a set of criteria is used which is adapted from the ones formulated by Sudiono. The quality of the developed teaching materials is determined by taking into account the total score average of the checklist based on the responses given by the two experts. The total average score is then interpreted by using the qualitative description. The result of the qualitative description has resulted into a follow-up before implementing the teaching materials whether or not the teaching materials need revision. The review was carried out once in which both experts reviewed and validated the entire selected teaching materials in different times and places. And the conclusion is, the fact as presented illustrates that the teaching materials draft are then ready to be used for teaching speaking skill in the class of Speaking Course 1, which is specifically taught at the English Education Study Program. And I think that's all from me. Less and more, please forgive. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.